What's going on, everybody? Yo, today I already recorded the episode. I'm doing this afterwards. I had so much fun researching and learning more about this. If you guys have suggestions, please leave them or let me know because this was a lot of fun. I want to do as much as I can to help you guys out. So I really hope you enjoy the episode as much as I did recording it. What's going on, world? Welcome back to another episode of the Plants and PRs podcast, the podcast to help you move better, feel better. We're going to focus on that one today and look a hell of a lot better. My name is Tyler Egan. I am a certified personal trainer, and today, by request, someone brought this topic up to me, brought it to my attention, and then started doing some research. I'm like, yo, I got to do more. This is just a start. So today I want to be talking about sleep, why it's important, some tips and tricks I learned through the last couple of days of researching, and some stuff that I've been doing for myself to help me sleep or help me get out of bed and help me stay motivated and all these things. Because, what I'm realizing more and more just about every single day is how important mindset is, and it doesn't just stop with going to the gym or cooking your food or eating the right foods. It's literally everything in your life your mindset is important for, even sleep. I learned a lot from doing research for this podcast. I'm extremely excited to share this episode. And thank you again for people who have given me suggestions lately. It really does help me because this is just an excuse for me to learn more. You guys already know we're going to salute this great country first, and then I'm going to get into the episode. I'm actually really pumped to share this episode. So a couple things I want to be talking about. I wrote down after getting some questions about it. I wrote down some of the things I want to discuss. So how to get more sleep / sleep better, because sometimes more doesn't always equal better. I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong because I've never dealt with this personally. People who are depressed tend to sleep more, which isn't a good thing. More sleep doesn't always equal better. So it's more about, if you're getting 8 hours, how to optimize that. If you're getting 6 hours, how to optimize that. In my research, and I'm just getting started on this topic, I have a whole bunch of sources that I'll be linking in the show notes. Okay, so I'll be linking that in the show notes. And everything I've done so far, there wasn't a specific time. That standard time we get of 6 to 8 hours is a pretty good ballpark. But from there, it really does kind of depend on the human being, the person themselves, the individual. So keep that in mind. You got to figure out what works best for you. But there are better ways to optimize your sleep to get better sleep. Excuse me. So some how to get up on time, tips and tricks, how to feel well rested, which kind of goes back to the optimizing your sleep and sleeping better, recovery, not feeling well rested when you get up, things to that effect. So like I said, 6 to 8 hours seems to be the good ballpark, but the quality is important, and it really seems to depend on the person. Like, for example, and I've been like, one thing people need to realize is we're all science experiments to some degree, and there's never going to be this is it for you. That's it. I mean, look, you may come across some things, but you're going to have to test things out. You're going to have to mess around with some things. I've been messing around with my food, what foods I like, maybe intermittent fasting a little bit, meal frequency, things like that. I've been messing around with it for like the last 3 years, and I'm still finding things I like, things that work for me, all that kind of stuff. So we are like literally like science experiments, so don't be afraid to try things out and keep that in the back of your mind. What works for me may not work for you. I will share some of my own personal experiences and things that have worked well for me, but they're just that. So let's get started. You're going to hear, I didn't think this through, sorry. I got a whole bunch of fucking notes. So let's start off with how to get better sleep, some tips and tricks, things to help you get better sleep. Maybe you don't have a hard time falling asleep. I'm one of those people. I knock out like that. The problem is I don't always sleep well. I think I got like 6.5, 7 hours of sleep last night, but I woke up and I had a hard time getting up this morning. That's usually a sign of something. For me, I'm pretty sure it was I ate like an hour before bed. Usually I sleep better when I don't. Like I said, I've been messing around with things lately. So a couple of things that I learned. More sunlight. We need more sunlight. More sunlight allows our body to make more serotonin. And I want to make this so you guys understand it, because it's not as like, everyone knows serotonin is the feel-good hormone, right? But it's also responsible it also converts into melatonin in our body. Melatonin helps us sleep, helps reset our circadian rhythm along with sunlight. It helps us reset our internal clock. One thing I do want to say too is I am by no means an expert on sleep. I was just doing this research. I fully understand that I may not get these points across the way I want. So I'm probably going to revisit this stuff. So just bear in mind everything I'm saying, and don't be afraid to look at the links I leave in the show notes for you guys. But serotonin is also a neurotransmitter. A neurotransmitter is a chemical messenger. Okay? Like I said, it's the feel-good hormone, and it can convert into melatonin. So sunlight boosts serotonin, and we need melatonin to sleep. So I said two things in there that I want to explain a little bit more clearly. The two things that I want to explain more clearly are, what is your circadian rhythm and what is melatonin? So melatonin is a hormone. Our brain makes it because when we're exposed to more darkness, again, that's why it's so important to have our internal clock or our circadian rhythm. That's what our circadian rhythm is our body's internal clock. To have it on the right cycle. That's why people who work second shift tend to get thrown out of whack. So more sunlight not only boosts your serotonin, which converts into melatonin, which helps regulate our circadian rhythm, if you're still following along with me here. Actually, I just said both things right there. Plus, more serotonin, like I said, it's the feel-good hormone. So it's important for us to have adequate amounts of that to feel good. All right. The other thing with melatonin, and I'm sure people have seen this in stores if you've gone down the supplement aisle in Rite Aid or any other pharmacy or grocery store, is you see melatonin supplements. I would totally stay the fuck away from those. I used to use them all the time, and what it does is it actually throws our body out of whack. Our body can no longer secrete melatonin the same way it's supposed to. Our brain can't make it the same way because we're so dependent on taking it in. So I would personally stand clear of that. Again, maybe do more research of your own. It's important. The next thing is blue light. I'm sure people have heard about this. Turn off your fucking cell phones, your TVs. Get it all out of your goddamn bedroom. Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. I heard this after reading, I want to say it was Kelly Starrett's book on how effective or how much sitting fucks us up. My words, not his. And he talks about sleep and how we need it for our bodies to heal properly. So what I started to do was take everything out of my bedroom, like every kind of light, because it can restrict the amount, it can turn off, there's a specific word for it, I'm drawing a blank on it now. It can turn off what our brain, the signal, I'm pretty sure it turns off the signal that our brain flips on to start secreting melatonin so that we know it's dark time, or it's dark out, it's nighttime, time to go to sleep, time to rest and recover. So blue lights can inhibit that. So we need to be mindful of that. So get it all out of your room. Through the research, I read suggestions that were anything from 1 to 3 hours before bed. So before bed, restrict your cell phone use, your TV, get it out of the room because, again, from my research, we actually have photoreceptors in our skin that can pick up light, okay? So the second that light, those photoreceptors pick up light, blue light specifically, and if I'm not mistaken, the sun gives off blue light, and what our technology is doing is mimicking that. You can, I'm pretty sure iPhones have a dark mode now for when it's nighttime. I just downloaded this really cool app for my laptop called Flux. I think they said, one of the podcasts I listened to, they said that there was an app for it too, so I got to look at that on my phone. But like I said, iPhones have that built in now. What blue lights do is they suppress the secretion of melatonin. Again, melatonin starts secreting when it's dark out or nighttime. If we're constantly consuming things on our phones, our laptops, our televisions, we are turning off the thing that makes our brain secrete melatonin to tell us that it's dark, it's nighttime, and it's time to go to bed, okay? We don't want that. So we need to get into better habits. At least an hour, upwards to 3. You probably fall somewhere in there. I started turning my cell phone, not turning it off, but putting my cell phone aside, like in the other room when I go to sleep. I bought an alarm clock. It doesn't even it has a very dim light. Literally the only thing in my bedroom now, and I luckily live in a basement, so it's dark as fuck and it's cold. And we'll get to that because temperature matters as well. And it's made a world of difference. I've slept better. I still could do better because sometimes I do pick up my phone, but I bought like 2 years ago blue light blocking glasses, and those things have helped so much. It's like so much to the point, if I hold them up in front of my eyes right now, I can see the difference, how much dimmer it is, how much less blue there is because of the lens. Sorry, I'm behind on the water intake today. So get rid of the blue lights, buy some blue light blocking glasses. They're awesome. Because one thing we got to realize with technology, everybody says this is addicting and that's addicting, right? They say our cell phones are addicting these days. I actually heard on a podcast today, I think is the average person picks up their cell phone 150 times a day, which averages like every 6 minutes we're grabbing our cell phone. And the thing, it's not just with our cell phones, that was just kind of an example, but TVs, laptops, everything we're using, we get this dopamine response. The second we go on Facebook or we get validation from somebody. I talked a little bit about that yesterday in the episode on instant and delayed gratification. We get this dopamine response, which is what we're really addicted to. That's what things like alcohol and drugs do. They give us a dopamine response, and almost an instant dopamine response. And the same thing happens with our cell phones. And we're addicted to that dopamine response. All of us. I'm not an exception. So we have to check ourselves regularly. Coffee gives us the same dopamine response. Food, same like a lot of the foods these days, the high fat, high sugar, same dopamine response. So we have to check ourselves regularly, especially when it comes to technology these days. It's affecting us in ways that we don't quite comprehend yet. So 1 to 3 hours before bed, get rid of the technology, maybe read, meditate, do some yoga, do something to relax yourself, because de-stressing yourself is so fucking important. Just do it. Get rid of the blue lights. I'm telling you, it works. I'm telling you, it's worth it. So, sorry, picking up my mic again. Got a lot of notes. I did not think this part through. The way I have setup is very not user-friendly right now. I hate sitting down so much. Sorry, side note here. I hate sitting down so much that I have this table that my parents bought me for my last apartment. I didn't have any kitchen space, so they bought this table for more counter space for the kitchen. And I actually have a cardboard box stacked on top of it, so I have a standing desk to some degree. I don't have money to be, well, I do have, my money's going towards other things. So this definitely works, but it doesn't work out to have notes and the microphone. So got to figure this out. But the next thing to really help optimize your sleep, to get better sleep, this one hurts me to say because it's a problem I deal with. And like, again, doing the research for these episodes really put shit in perspective for me. I put sleep up there with nutrition and stuff like that, but not to this extent. Some of the research I came across, some of the people I heard speak about it, holy shit. Is sleep a big deal? Caffeine, get rid of it. Set caffeine curfews. This is something I'm really bad about. I heard caffeine curfews of anywhere from noon to 4 p.m. Noon actually sounds like the best one. I actually, let me pull it up real fast. I did have a study that I liked that I was reading. Again, I will link all the show notes for you guys. So in this one study, the conclusion was the magnitude of reduction in total sleep time suggests that caffeine taken 6 hours before bedtime has important disruptive effects on sleep and provides empirical support for sleep hygiene recommendations to refrain from substantial caffeine use for a minimum of 6 hours prior to bed. Now, again, I heard anywhere from noon to 4 p.m. I'm usually in bed by like 9, so like honestly, noon sounds like the best bet for me. I got to start messing around. I got to take this more seriously. But get rid of caffeine. Make sure you're getting proper hydration and nutrition. A lot of people say that they need coffee to wake up. The problem isn't that you necessarily need coffee to wake up. You're not sleeping well enough. Maybe you're drinking too much caffeine throughout the day. Your body's becoming way too reliant on it. You're not well hydrated. You're not properly you're not getting proper nutrition. That may be your actual issue. It's not that you can't wake up. You're not actually sleeping. So when you go to get up, you're not fully awake. We shouldn't have as big of an issue getting out of bed as we do. And look, I dealt with it this morning. It happens to the best of us. And again, I have some tips and tricks that I do that may help somebody. Again, mindset is fucking important. Sorry if you're hearing me pour more water in the background. No, you are, because I can hear it myself. Proper hydration and nutrition. Okay, so again, all of these links will be in the show notes. I just to do a rundown. I have this study on the effects of caffeine of 0, 3, and 6 hours before bed. Blue light article here. I had to look up like what neurotransmitters are before I threw the word out there to you guys, what the circadian rhythm, some things you guys can read, more on melatonin, another study on sleep disorders and thermoregulation, which we're going to get to right now, actually, because a cool bedroom is important because we need our body temperature, our core temperature to drop. Another thing I learned from doing all this that really hurts my soul because I work 10 to 12 hour shifts, or so it seems so far with my new job. I get home at like 5 o'clock at night. I usually go to bed by like 9. They say for best results, you should probably work out before 4 hours before bed. So like for me, it would be like, let's say 3 o'clock, because when you work out, it increases your core body temperature. And in order to sleep well, we need our core body temperature to drop like drastically. And I mean, maybe not drastically. That's me making shit up. Because through my research, what thermoregulation is, and this is why a cool bedroom is so important here. Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked there. Why a cool bedroom is so important, why the decrease in your body temperature is so important is because our body goes through a process called thermoregulation, and our body cools itself off to get into a deeper sleep. Excuse me. In one of the in the research I did, one of the articles I was reading led to a study that I ended up reading a little bit. I'm not the best at deciphering through research, so if someone is and they're like, "Yo, dude, this study was flawed or whatever," let me know, because again, learning experience here for me. But through the research I was doing, this said a French study published in a press. I'm going to try to say this with a French accent. Presse Medicale. I don't fucking know. That was so bad. A French study published in the Presse Medicale stated that total sleep time in the highest... Okay, hold on. and you slow down when I'm reading. A French study published in Presse Medicale stated that total sleep time is the highest, so the most sleep time you get is the highest in the thermoneutral zone. So our body temperature isn't too high or too low. Our body temperature is regulated at a, wait, hold on. I should probably just read this whole thing before I try to break it down for you guys, because I was looking at it yesterday. A French study published in the Presse Medicale stated that total sleep time is the highest in the thermoneutral zone and low when the temperature are either warmer or colder. So when our body goes through thermoregulation and it drops our core body temperature off, we need to stay in that level. And if the room isn't cold enough, we won't be able to. Think about it. When it's super cold outside, people tend to sleep better or even more because they want to get all snuggled up and keep their body temperature at a certain level. And it's easier to do that when it's cold rather than when it's hot, because you need a shitload of AC, maybe an ice bath, who knows. But when it's colder in your room, you can always throw more blankets on, maybe a hoodie or something like that. So it's important to keep your room cold so you can keep your core body temperature cold so you can get the most out of your sleep. And again, this even says that when you get less sleep, when the temperature of your body is either warmer or colder than that neutral zone. And I believe I should have wrote this down. I heard on one of the podcasts that zone is like from like 62 degrees to 68 in the room. And then I believe, it would mean our body temperature stays the same. So what's the normal human body temperature? I think it's like 98 degrees, 98.6 or whatever it is. So a cool bedroom is so important. The best bedtime, or the best time frame that you want to be asleep in / by, is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That is when the greatest amount of melatonin secretion happens. And when we kind of narrow in on more specific times, this is the one thing I realized is like you really need to actually evaluate your time throughout the day so that you can get to bed on time. Everyone's saying that they don't have time for this or that, but like, seriously think about this for a second, because I do this all the time. Again, mindset is so important, which is why you need to check yourself fucking regularly. I mean, every day, if you don't already have everything figured out, like you understand yourself through and through, check yourself regularly, because you need to evaluate your time throughout the day. If you can't get to bed on time because you have too much to do and there's not enough time in the day, well, maybe you need to optimize your time a bit better. Instead of doing 1.5 hour long workouts, maybe a 30-minute workout works better for you. And the reason I use that example is I literally just realized that I got to start doing that more. I can't spend 1.5 hours, 2 hours working out after work because of all the research I just did. I need to try working out first thing in the morning. And like I said, 10 to 12 hour days, I don't have time while I'm at work to work out. So you have to evaluate your time and where you're wasting it, where you're spending it. How much time do you really waste on your phone? One thing I noticed when I first moved out to Pennsylvania, I got the weekly, what's it called? Like cell phone usage report that Apple sends us. iPhone users, I guess you probably have to turn that on. And my screen time, that's it, the screen time report. My screen time dropped 31% in the first 2 weeks I lived here because I was spending that much more time on my fucking phone before I moved. That's crazy. Like, I think it was, another thing I do is I have my screen, like when my phone isn't on low battery mode, my screen doesn't turn off, so that doesn't help me either. But 31%, that's a lot. 31%. So some things to help with keeping a bedroom cool and to help you get that melatonin secretion, besides the blue light blocking glasses at night, besides getting the cell phone out of your room, your TV off and out of your room potentially, make your bed. I heard this and I started to do this in my last relationship, but like literally just keep it for sex and sleep. The 2 S's. That's all you need. I heard it before. My last relationship, when we first been doing an apartment together, the only thing that was done in my room was sex and sleep. Now it's just sleep. But still, make it a sleep sanctuary. Make it about, that's what your bedroom's for. Just sleep. One of the things I used to do was I used to like get drunk in my bedroom. I used to watch television. I play video games. I hung out in my bedroom all day. So it was like so many things besides sleep. So no wonder I could never sleep. So get some blackout curtains so that when you're in your room, it's dark. You get the proper secretion of melatonin. Get all the blue lights out of your bedroom. Keep your room cool. And make sure you're in bed between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. because that's when the most amount of melatonin secretion happens. All right. Okay. So next thing. Here we go again. There was a lot. I learned so much from this. So 25 minutes. Holy shit. I didn't even realize that. And me saying this out loud is like, yo, this is so cool. Like all of this, like I didn't realize how much went into sleep. I started to implement some of these things myself already. I was using blue light blocking glasses. My room was pitch black. Before I moved into a basement, I had blacked out curtains. And I had it at my room at set at like 63 degrees every night. But I didn't realize how important this shit was. I really didn't. So the next thing, a couple last things here I'm going to hit on, and then I'll get into some things that have worked for me to help with specific things because I was asked specific questions. Sorry for the rant, all this stuff. I just wanted to go over some of the things I learned because it was fascinating. And I think the more we understand, the more we can control people. And I talk about this a lot anymore, and I think it's like the one thing I've realized more than anything is, especially the way society is, we put up these limits, we put up these barriers, we take ourselves, I would take Tyler Egan, the man, the person, the individual, and I would put him in a box and tell him, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not capable of this. And it's like, why are we constantly doing this? Why? The more we understand about the human body, the more we can control it. The more we can understand ourselves, control our emotions, control how we think, how we feel. Everyone's like, I just kind of think that way, or I just feel that way. Like, what do you mean? Don't you want to understand yourself better? The thing is, my friends, you are in control of your life. You are absolutely in control of every fucking aspect of your life. Now, of course, there are some things that are actually out of your control. Like, if you live in a third world country, I'm sure you're not even listening to this. If your skin color, your gender, those things are out of your control unless you want to start making shit up. But you are in control of your life. You can control the thoughts that go through your head. If you don't want to think those thoughts, pay attention to them. Understand why you're having them. And control what's going on in your head. You're in control. If you want to start working out more, get in better shape, you're in control. Start fucking doing it. You want to start a business, go fucking do it. Whatever you want to do, go just start doing it. Just start. It starts with a belief. Okay, back to it. So I already kind of hit on this. This is one thing I realized, when we're working out hard, especially I like to train hard. I like to take muscle or take exercises to failure and things like that. 4 hours rest before bed is apparently a good window. You want to have 4 hours of not like rigorous, intense exercise before bed so your body temperature can cool off. What resistance training really does is it puts us in an inflamed state. We hear so much these days that inflammation is bad, and it is. But there are some certain kinds of inflammation, like working out. It puts stress on our body, good stress on our body, because we need to understand stress and how to control it. It puts us in an inflamed state. Again, our body needs to be able to handle those things. The problem is these days with food, lack of sleep, lack of exercise, everybody is in a constant chronic state of inflammation, and that is where the problem is. There is such thing as good and bad inflammation, stuff like that. So working out is good, but 4 hours before bed, you don't want to be in that stressful mindset because we're, again, stressing our bodies with all the intense exercises we're doing. You don't want to be in that stressful mindset, in that stressful state of being before bed. You don't want your core body temperature to be that high. Again, I learned this, and I'm like, fuck, I got to try making a change and see what works. So morning workouts, from all the research I did, the podcast I listened to, everybody, I heard this like 4 times. Morning workouts seem to lead to a deeper sleep. And when I'm thinking about all the different times I've messed around with it, it's kind of true. if you think about it from this standpoint, caffeine is best taken in the mornings or early afternoons, right? So if we're taking a pre-workout or whatever else we're using to amp us up for amp us up for, I like to drink caffeine for the podcast. It gets me amped up. That's why I'm always jacked up and shit. But for our workouts to get all amped up, then if we're doing late workouts, then we're getting a decent, because some pre-workouts have a good amount of caffeine. We're getting a lot of caffeine in closer to our bedtime. So we get that out of the way. Don't have to worry about that caffeine intake from the pre-workout, right? Again, the inflamed state that we put ourselves in from workout and how that affects us going into our bedtime, and the core body temperature, which is a great way to start the day, not the best way to finish it. So 4 hours before bed, and it appears, from what I've gathered so far, because more research needs to be done on my end at least, workouts in the morning lead to a deeper sleep. But again, I definitely want to research this more. But I have noticed that in my own experiences, that when I think back on it all and reflect on it, yeah, that's kind of right. I should have paid attention to that sooner. Alcohol, get fucking rid of it. Read of it. I was saying this to a friend the other day. I never noticed until I did all this research on sleep that when I drink and then I go to sleep, even if it's like a beer, like literally just one, and I go to sleep that night, I wake up sweating at least one time. Even a little bit of alcohol seems to disrupt my sleep. And maybe it's just a mental hurdle that I need to get over personally, but it doesn't really matter, because alcohol can disrupt our sleep. It can disrupt our natural circadian rhythm. I don't think we can actually get into a deep sleep or REM sleep at all. I didn't go too far down the rabbit hole alcohol yet, because I didn't think it was necessary here. I feel like most people understand that alcohol doesn't actually help your sleep. It might help you fall asleep, but it doesn't help you get good quality sleep. Make sure you de-stress. I said this already. Do things like meditation or yoga before bed, things that de-stress you. I love doing yoga or mobility. Mobility kind of takes all the tension out of my body, depending on what I'm working on that day. And it really puts me in a more parasympathetic state of mind when I go into it. When I go into bed, which makes me more relaxed, not in a fight or flight state of mind, not in a stressed out state of mind, and I can fall asleep a fuck ton easier. One other thing I heard, I didn't look too much, and I just want to throw this out there because I kind of dig it, and I definitely think the earth, I think there's a bigger picture that a lot of us are missing, and I just kind of want to state this. This one, let me say the thing, and then I'll kind of go on a tangent. One of the things that I heard throughout all this, didn't do more research, I just want to throw it out there, was grounding yourself to the earth. So going out and standing out in grass or even on concrete. Apparently asphalt doesn't work, but even concrete has some grounding effect on our bodies and on us. And I definitely kind of believe in this stuff a lot more, because I think that the earth, I think us as human beings, actually all living beings on this planet and the earth, have this connection that people often overlook. Because without the earth, and if you think about this on a big picture, look at all the planets out there. There's a reason we're only on Earth, because we cannot live anywhere else yet. We have a connection to the earth that people tend to neglect and forget about. And this is my thing with global warming. This is the tangent I said I was going to go on. Even if climate change is inevitable, we can't do anything about it. It's just going to happen. Even if you take the fact that we are accelerating it and we're just going to have to deal with it. Let's just say we're going to have to deal with it. The fact of the matter is, this is still the only fucking planet we have. We don't know if we'll ever get to Mars. I'm sure Elon Musk will get us there. We don't know if we'll be able to live anywhere else. Why are we not taking care of this fucking place? People have lost that perspective. That's why I think the grounding to the earth thing is so fucking cool. I think that was such a unique thing. I want to look more into it. But grounding yourself to the earth. Go stand out in the grass. Be one with nature. Again, the more sunlight thing. That one was huge. I didn't even think about that, you know? I've heard vitamin D for depression, but it makes so much sense. So some of the things that I do, and again, this is where mindset comes back in and the mental toughness aspect of all this. All right, so we're at 35 minutes here. Yeah, this is good. This is the longest episode I've done, but this is by far the funnest. I hope somebody takes something from this, because I sure as fucking shit did, and I love this. So if you guys have suggestions, please let me know more, because this is just an excuse for me to learn more about being a better person, because all these things make you better. If you get more sleep, you can probably get more shit done in a day. You can probably be a better husband or wife or son or father or mother or cousin or aunt or boss or owner or coworker or anything you want to be. If you have more sleep, you can become a better person, because you have more time allocated to the things in your life instead of constantly being in a stressed out state of mind because you lack sleep. You're over caffeinated, your hormones are out of whack, so it goes on and on. All right, so some of the things I like to do. I like to set 2 alarms. I used to set like 7, but this is what I like to do now. 2 alarms. The first one is when I want to get up. The second one is when I need to get up. For example, right now, my technical hours at work are 6 to 4:30. Sorry for the breaks. I need to get hydrated, baby. 6 to 4:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so I like to be up a couple hours before work. I like to move my body a little bit, get some reading in, some habits I really have gotten into that I really, really like, that really help me. Habits are a whole other thing. I actually think in these 2 episodes I've done that people have suggested things, I think habits is a huge thing that I need to I want to talk about more. So I think that might be a new topic. Let me know what you guys think. So I have all these things I like to do before work, so I need to get up a couple hours before work. 3 o'clock in the morning is when I set my alarm now. I have one, and I'm trying to work down to 3. I want to be up. I want to be up by 3 o'clock every single day. Realistically, do I need to be? No, I can still get a bunch of things done, but I like having time. I like being able to get shit done and not feel rushed. So 3 o'clock is what I want. What I needed was at 3:30, and what I'm doing now as my need is 3:15. So I set 2 alarms. The first one goes up, and I evaluate, like, okay, how am I feeling? I want to get up. Most of the time, in the beginning, I cannot get up when I want to. So then that's when that second alarm comes into play, and that's when I need to get up. So I set that alarm, and then I force myself out of bed. And this is the big thing I've been saying a lot lately to myself. And this may sound crazy to people. You may be like, oh, you're too hard on yourself. Like, just stop with that shit. Stop with you're too hard on yourself, because realistically, there's nothing wrong with being hard on yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting more for yourself. And that's the type of person I am. So if you just listen to 38 minutes of me talking and you realize that maybe you're in the wrong place, I'm sorry. So my biggest thing lately has been you have to go to war with yourself. And honestly, it sounds like from the people I've talked to, the people who have asked me questions, that is the biggest thing, is getting up out of bed every morning. People have how many people hit snooze? I know you just thought about it and you're probably like, fuck, he's right. I do hit snooze too much. Exactly. You need to go to war with yourself. And the first battle we have every fucking day is to get out of fucking bed. Get out of bed. I literally put I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I put it right next to my alarm, so it's the first thing I see every morning when I turn the light on. And it says, win the war within yourself. And it starts with getting the fuck out of bed every day. So you have to look at yourself in the mirror, maybe before you go to bed that night, and think to yourself, what do I want? Okay, I want to get up earlier because I want to get more shit done. Then you get the fuck up. Get the fuck up. Stop making excuses. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop saying you're tired. Leave that shit at the door and start implementing the things that we already talked about to optimize and get better sleep. Maybe go to bed earlier. Turn your cell phone off. Get those blue lights out of your room. Blackout curtains. A cool sleeping environment. Try all those things, and then you'll start to see your sleep quality improve, so you won't even have this battle. But for now, in the meantime, while we're working on optimizing our sleep, you have to go to war with yourself. And understand that the first battle starts every fucking morning when you get out of bed. Hell, The next one might start 15 minutes later to get your ass to the gym or to start a workout or to do some mobility or to read something, to be productive. I don't know what your routine looks like, but the second battle might start right afterwards. So you need to set the tone early. Set the tone early. Get your fucking lazy ass out of bed. Don't make excuses. Don't let that person you used to be, the person you want to rid yourself of, win. There's two voices inside your head. And this is where I know I sound crazy to some people. You have your subconscious mind, that person you want to get rid of. You know, the person that you think like, oh man, I hate having these thoughts, or I don't want to be that lazy person anymore. I want to work out more. I want to get in better shape. I want to look better. I want to start my own business. what are some other really successful things people like to try to do? I want to drink more water. I want to, I can't think of it. I want to do yoga. All the things that you want to do, you can do. Like I said before, there are no limits to what you can do. So start early. Win the war in yourself, because you have your subconscious and your conscious, the subconscious being the person you want to get rid of, and that conscious person that we have such a hard time tapping into, the person that you truly want to be and that you know deep down in your fucking soul. And I'm not talking about just some bullshit affirmation that you have to tell yourself. The person that when you look at yourself in the mirror, that you know you want to be more than anything. Absolutely anything. I think I talked about this in yesterday's episode, but I'm going to say it again. I used to literally think about all the time that I wanted to be the person that I am today. And saying this right now, it actually kind of is getting me a little bit emotional, because it makes me happy on the inside, because I disciplined myself, I won the war, and I'm at a place where I'm happy. I'm not satisfied, but I'm fucking happy. So don't let that old, weak person win the war. Get your ass out of bed. Don't make excuses. If you're tired, so what? Optimize your sleep more. There are solutions out there. Buy some blue light blocking glasses. Get your room cool. Set up that quote, and I'm taking this from, I think the guy's name was Sean Stevenson, who said it, who was on a couple of podcasts. I listened to one of his speeches. I'm going to buy his book now. He wrote a whole book on this stuff. That's why I'll have another episode later. I'm going to read that shit. He called it, I believe he called it a sleep sanctuary. So create your sleep sanctuary. Do what you have to optimize your sleep, so you don't have to put yourself through that pain in a way every fucking morning. Win the fucking war within yourself, and it starts every fucking morning when you get out of bed. Every fucking morning. All right? Those are 2 tips I have. I think there might have been... You know what? I'm going to say one other thing. When you go to bed at night, don't sit there and be like, oh man, I'm going to bed late. I'm going to have a hard time getting up, this, that. Go to bed and be grateful that you have the ability to be able to sleep, even if it's for 4 hours in peace and quiet, and at least get some kind of rest and recovery. Okay? Even if you're getting a couple hours, even if you know it's not going to be a lot. Don't take that negative mindset into your sleep. And don't wake up with a negative mindset. The best quote, I think, out there to this day that I've seen is, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you go to bed with a negative mindset, saying that you're not going to be able to wake up, or you're going to have a hard time, then you're going to wake up having a hard time. You're not going to want to get up. You're going to be tired. You're just going to complain. And when you start your day that way, you're setting yourself up for failure. Not only are you establishing early that you're going to complain instead of doing things about it, but you're going to start the day by losing the war within yourself. And when the first battle is lost, man, for some people, that's all you need. So guys, I really hope you took something out of this. Longest podcast episode in Plants and PR's history. And this episode made me realize that I need to, I guess, quote unquote, rebrand the podcast more, because there is a much larger picture that I am just finally starting to see, that I want to help people see. Guys, there isn't anything that you can't gain control over. There is nothing that is beyond your limitation. Humans are limitless. We've been to the moon. Look at all the technology we're creating. Elon Musk is doing incredible shit I don't completely agree with, but incredible shit nonetheless. Look how far human beings have come just in the start of American history. It's incredible. You are capable of that. Start by optimizing your sleep. I know I sure should am. If you guys took anything from this, please leave a rate and review on iTunes. And if you have more suggestions, please leave them for me. I loved doing this. I learned so fucking much. Again, it sparked a whole new interest in me. I'm going to start doing more research on sleep, especially. I'm going to buy some books, amongst other things. I've been on a rampage reading lately. I love it. So please, guys, suggestions all day. I'm with it. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, and I will check you guys out in the next episode. Peace.